What's up, everybody? It's Reek, aka the Credit Kid _ Follow on me on Instagram. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to this video. I got Miss Francheska here. We gonna talk about some credit.
Hey y'all.
She's scared to talk, y'all. But anyways, we about to just do a little breakdown, talk about a couple different things today. We want to go over some credit things, some funded things, what we got into credit, like what made us do credit, and like why we, got started. So we want to start off talking about a couple different things.
So basically, it's a lot of people who don't know about credit. It's a lot of people who are uneducated about credit and why they need credit. And you honestly need credit for literally everything in life. You need credit for a car. You need credit for a phone bill. You need credit for an apartment, to get a house. Literally everything like you need credit for. Credit is bad and you're not going to get approved. But yeah, that's just like the basics. Like you need credit for a lot more than people think.
What made you get into credit? Like, what was something that, like, you was like, man, maybe I want to start helping people out and helping people with their credit. Like, what was something that made you get into it?
So honestly, before I got into the credit space, I was one of the people who were uneducated about it. Honestly, until I got around the right people, is when I really started learning it for myself. I can honestly say that God just placed me around the right people with the right information, and I took it and I really locked in, and I turned it into a skill set for myself, and then now I'm able to teach others to do the same. So really just God, I feel like. And if you know me, you know that I'm willing to invest into courses, mentorship, all of the above. So
That's something nice to tap up on. Like, I think mentorships and like courses is real important because a lot of people don't really see the importance of like mentorships and courses. But I know me, for example, like paying for mentorships, paying for courses, and just getting around different other individuals who like trying to go do the same thing as me, and then somebody who's teaching it as well. I just kind of feel like that was one of the things that kind of like took my education level with credit and learning about credit, you feel me, to the whole next level. One question I got is like, if I was somebody who, just say I didn't know nothing about credit, and I'm like, man, outside of the phone bill and the car, what is some type of like secret or something that like you can tell me to maybe like get me interested in terms of like what I could possibly use my credit for in the future?
okay, that's a great question. So right, when you got good credit, it's endless possibilities. If you got relationships with the banks, you can do a lot more than you think. Honestly, one main thing I would say is credit can really change your life. So let's say you're stuck in a situation where your finances aren't all that great. You might be at rock bottom. You can honestly use your credit to put you in position and make you money. So as long as you got a strong credit profile, as long as you got good credit, you can use it to get approved for funding. Use that funding to get you a business, or if you already have an idea, like a business idea, fund that idea, and use it to make you some money. Passive income.
So if I was somebody who was like maybe looking at this video and they watching us and they like, hey, they make money doing credit repair and stuff like that. Do you think maybe credit repair would be something that you could start as like off as a side hustle, or maybe get like a lifelong career? What would be your advice to somebody like maybe like 17, 18, 19 that's maybe looking at, credit repair, maybe looking at funding, looking at maybe trying to start a business? What would be some of your advice that you can give them to be like, how could you can start off getting your foot in the door?
Honestly, just getting around the right people is definitely one. Your environment is a big factor. Like they say, your network is your network. So just getting around the right people with the right mindset. It honestly did start off as a side hustle for me. I didn't think I would want to like take it too serious. I just wanted to do it to earn some extra money. But then I actually realized how important it really is, how it can really benefit others, and it stopped becoming about like how much money I can make off of it, which is a lot of money in the credit game if you know, you know. But once it stopped being about the money for me, it was more so about how many people I can help with. So definitely, you could definitely start off as a side hustle, but it's really just about your intention behind it. And that really just, yeah, it's really about your intention behind it.
So how long you been doing credit?
I'll say it's been a little over 3 years now.
So I've been doing credit for like 2 years. I feel like it makes it kind of special because it is a lot of money to be made in credit. It's a lot of things you can do with your credit that people don't know. Like, and it's things that, like, I never knew for a long time that your cell phone bill, like, you can't just go to try to get a cell phone without having a certain credit. Like, they will deny you from getting a cell phone. So when they say you can come get 4 free phones, that's literally determined off your credit score. A lot of just me giving some free game. A lot of people don't realize that, you know, when you're trying to go buy cars or when you're trying to go buy houses, like when they offer those 0.9 APR interest rates, a lot of people think it's fake. Or when they say, hey, you can get a car with no money down, or people are trying to figure out why you can or cannot get a car with no money down, it's all because of your credit score. That always determines your interest rate and all that. If you got a crazy, super good credit score, your interest rate is going to be phenomenal. You can get approved for great rates, you can get leases, and you can do different things. But if you don't have good credit, that's why you have to go with financing and maybe going with a real 24, 25% interest rate.
Yeah. And I did want to chime in on that. With bad credit, let's say you're trying to go get you a car with bad credit, interest rate matters because with bad credit, you will probably end up buying that car 2 or 3 times. What I mean by that is, like, let's say a car is $20,000, and just because you have bad credit and you get a high, crazy interest rate, you will end up paying $40,000 for a car that's not even worth that. So just keep that in mind. It's definitely a bigger deal than we think. Same thing when it comes to buying a house. You know, a house could be $200,000, and just because you have bad credit, you're gonna get a crazy mortgage every month and end up buying that house for way more than what it's worth. So.
Had conversations with people about credit. Just like, for example, I feel like me, when I first started doing this, it was different because I feel like people was like, oh, you just learned it, so people don't really know what you know. You don't know what you're talking about. So now, that little bit of time had passed, and I still kind of be having conversations with people. I don't think people be taking me serious. So, like, my question to you is, how is it with, like, your family, significant others, and stuff like that? That, like, do they be listening to you for real, or they think you just be like lying, or they think you capping for real?
Honestly, I feel like a little bit of both. Just because, like, for family members, for example, I feel like just with anything you do in life, whether it's credit, whether you're a business owner, or you have, you know, big dreams, just because they know who you are or who you were in the past, they think they know you now. You know, you could be doing all the inner work and personal development. You could be different, but they just always see you as the, you know, the kid that they know growing up. So there's always going to be people who doubt you and don't really. I have both. I have people who definitely support me and see the woman I'm becoming, and, you know, they're on the journey with me. And then I have others who, friends or family, that be like, you know, I'll believe it when I see it. Because people like to see, you know, all the watches and cars and all the big stuff before they really tap into something.
For sure.
And yeah, that plays a big part in it. So
I do believe, and this is just me giving some free game to anybody trying to watch it. I do kind of believe in, like, lifestyle marketing, but the only reason why, like, one of my mentors I had got, they kind of was like, use your credit to show people what, if you're gonna be using this, and, you know, you're using it as a business, use it to be like, hey, this is what I use my credit for. So I use my credit for these credit cards, this car, you know, moving like this, and be able to show, like, the luxury of it. But I do kind of just feel like it's sad, but I think it's good that we doing this type of interview to spread some enlightenment and awareness to, like, credit, and just, you know, two people having a conversation about it, because I never really got to see these type of interviews or see people, like, having a conversation about this. And then I feel like, I know my main goal and, like, my main reason of why I started doing credit is because I feel like it's something that people won't sit down and have a conversation about, like, just period, like, just different endless things that we do. Like, if you somebody who got, like, a big goal and a dream, and you kind of don't know how you gonna get your business off the ground, and you may need some type of funding when you're 17, 18 years old, you don't have to go to college. You can really sit down and build out a credit profile a certain type of way, make sure everything is perfectly set in order the best of your ability that you can. You go and get you everything set up in the way it needs to be set up, and now you can start your business with using the bank's money, other people's money. You feel me? Stuff that we think in school terms where it's like you can only use this money to go to this school, to take this course, to get this job. But in this term, it's like you can use this money to do whatever, even if it's 10, 20,000. Like I know when I was 18, 19, I might have not did the best decisions with these amounts of money, but I think the enlightenment to know that would have gave me hope. I never knew like $20,000 when I was like 16 years old. In my mind, I thought that was like a nice piece of money. You feel me? But I ain't thinking people just, you hear all the stories I hear now when I done got around all these different people, they always be like, man, I started with only 10,000. I started with only 50,000. Like, only started with 50,000.
When it comes to funding, like the goal is to get the funding and then get 0% interest for the first year. So the good thing, it's literally just your profile. As long as you meet the requirements and you got, no negatives on your profile, they don't want to see none of that. They want to see 7+ different types of accounts, all in good standing, good credit history, good age. We can break down the 5 factors next, but the 0% interest is nice because let's say you do get approved for $200,000. Let's just say that. Let's just say $200,000, and you have 0% interest for the first 12 months. That means that you could just make a minimum payment. Let's say you only spend $100,000 of that to get your business going, to invest in your business, hire some employees, or get your marketing right, get your website together, business cards, all the things that you need to get your business off the ground. And let's say you only use the $100,000, for example, and you could just make the minimum payment for the first year, and they're not making no money off you, like interest-wise. That gives you enough time to really get your business going to where it's making you money and making you passive income. So where when you do have to take care of the balance in full, like it won't be a problem. So the 0% interest is real nice to just take that time to really focus on your business, get it going, and then make your money and your credit literally work for you.
So you had mentioned the 7 different accounts. Can you give like maybe 3 or 4 like
types of accounts? Yeah. So when it comes to like your credit mix, they want to see at least 7+ accounts. But just to name a few of those, let's say you want to see an authorized user account. So that's you on somebody else's card that's been open for a lot of years and they never missed a payment, and you get to benefit from that history. That would be like an authorized user account. That is free. You can ask a family member, a relative, one of your friends that you know that you can trust, that don't play about their credit, to add you on as an authorized user. Another one would be like a secured credit card. Another one could be like a loan. So those are just a couple of different types of accounts.
you get it? I know you said you want to get into the 5 factor.
Yeah. So when it comes to credit, people kind of make it a little more difficult than what it really is, but that just comes from not knowing. So credit is simple. When it comes to the 5 factor, or when it comes to credit, if you just focus on the 5 factors of credit and you practice those faithfully, you're gonna see a increase in your scores. You're gonna see your credit jump. You're gonna see your credit grow. So the first factor of credit is gonna be your payment history. This makes up 35% of your score, so it's the biggest factor. They don't want to see nothing paid late. Make all your payments on time. Don't ever miss.
That's important.
Don't ever miss a payment. If you miss one payment, it can drop your score up to 100 points.
If you do miss a payment, just say you got a car loan and you do miss a payment. Do this. Call whatever you finance, whatever bank you finance. Just say you finance with Huntington. Call Huntington and ask them if they'll give you any type of relief or anything because you had some type of family emergency going on. And this is just a secret. This is a little, free gem right here of if you ever do get a late payment, this is how important it is to make sure that you.
Because if they see that you've been a great customer, that you kept up on your payments, and you literally missed that one, they might be willing to work with you and reverse that late payment from your report. So definitely, I
Catch
agree
22
with that.
to that.
Yeah, definitely agree.
This is how I get a lot of stuff. I get stuff off like this too. If you call and one person say no, I'm calling again and get another representative. I'm gonna call maybe 3-4 times. I learned that from. That's why you gotta pay. You gotta pay.
Yeah.
Them courses. That's what I learned when that in the courses.
Yeah.
You call like even with some of the stuff with the bureaus and stuff with different stuff. Like that's how I be getting inquiries off too. Like, you gotta just keep calling and talking.
Literally, because some of the people that work for these don't really know about credit. So I've had a situation one time where a client called their credit card company because of a late payment, and it was just one. They were always on time before that, since then, and they said what you said, basically, you know, I had an emergency, you know, I've been a great customer with you guys, I want to keep this relationship going.
Oh yeah.
Can you guys please remove this late payment? And the representative said something like, oh, that has to do with TransUnion, with the credit reporting agencies. And it's like, the credit reporting agencies are getting this information from you guys. You guys are the ones reporting this late payment. And it's just like, these people sometimes don't even know what they're talking about. It's just a big lack of awareness, I should say, or just a big gap in education when it comes to credit overall. So definitely call in once, twice, 3 times, you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, so that's the first, payment history is the first factor. The second factor is gonna be your utilization. So this makes up 30% of your score, it's the second biggest factor. They want you to keep your credit card balances at 30% or lower. So let's say, just for the terms of mental math, let's say your credit card or your credit card limit is $100. They don't want you using no more than $30 of that, just for example. So always keep your balances at 30% or lower. But there is a hack that I got for y'all. So let's just say you guys had to, you know, you had something come up, unexpected expense, and you had to max out your card for the month and use your whole balance. That's okay, because there is a difference with your due date and your statement date. So your due date is the day that, you know, if you don't pay your payment by, it's going to be considered late. Then you have your statement date, which you can find this on your credit card statements, usually like the last day in your billing cycle. Your statement date is when your balance is reported over onto your credit profile. So, of course, always make your payments by the due date. Let's say you only got the minimum payment by the due date, that's fine. But you can pay it down again, at least by the statement date when it's going to get reported over to your credit profile. Pay it down to that 30% then, and they'll never know that you maxed out your credit card. They'll just see that you made your payment and your utilization is at the 30% or lower. So that's just a little hack in case you do have to max out your cards, which it happens. As long as you pay it by your statement date, pay it down, then you be good to go. So that's a little hack for y'all. And that is the second factor, which is utilization. Moving on to the third factor in your credit is going to be your credit age. So this makes up 15% of your score. Credit age makes up 15% of your score. So obviously the longer history you have, the longer age you have showing good relationships with the banks and stuff, they want to see that. They want to see you're trustworthy, and the good credit age, they want to see a minimum, well, obviously the longer the better, but let's just say 4+ years, that's like minimum. They want to see an average of 4+ years for credit age, and that's on the lower end, but around there and up is good. So this is where an authorized user could really benefit you. Let's say that's what you're lacking on, is credit age. Everything else looks good, but your credit age is low. That's when you can ask someone you know to add you on as an authorized user, someone who's had an account open for years and again never missed a payment, and you can benefit from their age. So that's credit age. The fourth factor in your credit is going to be your credit mix. So like I was saying earlier, they want to see a different variety of accounts. 7+ is the goal. If you look on like Credit Karma, you know, it shows you the good, fair, excellent. I guess to be considered excellent, they would want to see like 9 accounts at least as a variety on your credit profile. So That is the fourth factor. And then the last factor in your credit is new credit or inquiries. So they don't want to see you applying a bunch of times for different accounts. Make sure when you're going to apply for something, you do it intentionally, and you're not just applying for random stuff and having a whole bunch of inquiries on your report. They think it just makes you look thirsty.
It's
like,
weird though. They be like, when you go buy a car, they gonna send you out a different bank, but it's just a hack right here. We giving out a lot of free games right here. This is a hack right here. So if you go to just say you go to the dealership, you need to know your credit score. Always know your credit score when you either buy a house, whatever, buy a car, but anything that's gonna determine somebody trying to pull from different lenders or find different banks to work with you, always notify whoever put in your score, like, hey, listen, I take my credit score very, very important, and I need for you to only send this to places somebody that you think that I fall into, whatever tier I fall into, and that you think that I'm gonna get approved for, because each credit score and each point tied into your credit profile is just as important as the number once you have the profile. So if you have multiple accounts, like if you got 5-6 accounts and you have a 750, you have a strong 750. If you got a 750 and all you got is a kickoff account on your profile, it's not a strong 750. So the banks see all of this, so that's the whole way. And then once you realize, once you get into certain tiers, just how you can get different credit cards. So you got American Express and you got the higher end credit cards. These credit cards, you're able to do different things. Like if you get a hotel, even if you get a base room, if you got a certain American Express, you will always be able to, they will automatically just put you into the biggest, nicest executive suite. So it's like certain things, it's just always a hack on just you using this to your benefit, but you always want to know your credit score and understand and take it serious. Like, but the whole thing with the increase is like you want to keep your increase low. It's weird because a lot of increase just really don't look good, but you can always get these things removed as well. Like,
yeah, and I did want to add on to that what you were saying about the dealership. If you don't go in there and tell them, hey, I want you to only run my score, you can tell them too. Like, can you only run my credit through, let's just say 4 banks minimum, because it's usually like a couple points that it will go down as soon as they run your score. If you don't tell them that, you're going to end up with at least, and that's meant like 10 inquiries just for them trying to find you the best rates and go through all these different banks. But if you go in there and you know your score, like you said, and you only tell them, run me only 4 times because I don't play about my credit, there's a way that they can do that. So that was just my little add-on to that.
they probably just be running your score. They probably don't even listen to you.
No. Who? Me? Not me.
You get good?
No. Not anymore. Before I really got into the credit game, yes. It's happened to me before where they ran me through 10 plus banks just to get me approved. And I was going to get approved anyway. So it's like, why are you, it's unnecessary for them to write you literally.
And I feel like that's important just to know, like, because I do feel like women is more subjected to get played when they come down to like trying to get cars and stuff like that. Yes. They don't know nothing about cars. Most women don't know nothing about cars. But this the thing though, if you could, like, and I tell people this all the time, you don't always have to have the most perfect credit score or like always have to get involved with all this. You don't have to go for fun. You don't have to do all of this stuff, but you always should have basic common knowledge, understanding. Like when we went to school, everybody didn't get an A, but the person who had a C, he knew a little bit of something about science, about gravity and some rocks and Mars. And we all knew some of the basics. So with credit, you kind of need to know the same thing because you need to watch videos like this, take a little bit of notes, feel me? You take a little bit of notes or something like. And I'm just saying that on the aspects of if you really get to understand it, at least if you know you say you got a 550 and it's a real 550 because you had a couple cars, stuff happened, life happened, whatever. At least you know what position you in and what situation you in. So realistically, if they telling you, hey, you got a 20% interest rate or something like that, or an 18% interest rate, you can understand why you at this interest rate or what's going on, and always start to learn and educate yourself. We always may not be ahead of the system, but at the end of the day, we should always be able to put ourselves in a position to where we at least knowledgeable to know where somebody else can't take advantage of us, or somebody else can't just do whatever they want to do without us being able to know what's going on. So at least if we in a situation where you might be able to not get approved for something or, whatever, until we put ourselves in a position to get it fixed or get around the right people, you still need to be knowledgeable. So
yeah, definitely. Like, even if it's a little, I'm always a student. I like to learn new things, and I'm always willing to invest into a course, mentorship. So I feel like everyone should be just learning new information every day. So even if it's like 30 minutes a day, throw on a podcast when it comes to credit. There's a bunch of information on YouTube that you can learn, but just be careful because there's like the gurus out there that think they know what they're talking about when it comes to credit. But so just be careful. That's all I'm gonna say about that. There's a lot of people pushing information out there that's not as efficient, and it's not as efficient like long term. You see a lot of people pushing 14-day hack or 6-day hack, which is very possible that it works, and I've seen it work in the past, but we want to go for long-term results. Things are going to last, because let's just say you invested into all these hack courses and 6-day courses, and you're going to wipe your credit profile in a week, and like that's cool if it works, but if it doesn't, then what? So just be mindful of like who you watch and who you listen to, because there is gurus out there that don't really know what they're talking about. So I just wanted to throw that in there as well. But just like you were saying, like in school, when it comes to school, they didn't teach this in school. Why? Like, why didn't they teach credit in school?
why? I know why.
You go ahead.
They ain't teach credit in school because they want us to be disadvantaged. So the reason why they didn't teach credit in school is because they use credit and interest to their advantage. So the bank is pissed off when somebody got a 800 credit score. They don't.
Yeah.
It's rare for a person to have an 840, 830. That's not always just a common thing. The average credit score is like 650. So they make money off of people who have poor credit. Everybody that's poor, America and government make money off of. If you live on Section 8, whether it's food stamps, anything that the government is tied off of, they make their own money off of it. So anything that they don't teach us, they use it to their advantage, whether it's investing, whether it's credit, whether it's anything that isn't taught. Because I always say, like, I'm not a big school person. I don't really want my kids to go to school and stuff like that. I kind of really working hard right now and really trying to turn up and go to the next level right now, because I want to just once they are 10, 11, I kind of just want them to be homeschooled and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just looking at the school system and how everything is set up, and I'm like, there's nothing in real world scenarios to where if I need to pay a bill or I get a ticket or if I got some type of legal situation going on, nothing is set in place that I take from school that I can actually implement into my real life. So now I'm starting to realize y'all purposely teach us a bunch of things to where y'all can subject us to be a certain type of person to where we don't have no life purpose. Cause again, I like doing what I do. I do all of this credit stuff, and I even do all this stuff is because I show people who look like me, come from where I come from, that you can make a difference. You can have nice shit, you can have some money, and you don't have to walk and talk a certain type of way. You don't have to be proper. You just gotta know stuff though. You can't be dumb. You can't be retarded. If you learn something, you can do whatever you want to do. The whole goal of my life is to have the most FU money that I can have, so people can just leave me alone. But